Welcome to Conscious Living Collective, where transformation is not just a concept but an experience. My name is Tomek. I'm a scientist, teacher, and transformation coach. In these live sessions, we blend the latest in scientific research, the deep wisdom of mindfulness, and the art of fulfilled living. This is a kind invitation to have a direct experience, to rewrite your story, and to emerge with a renewed sense of purpose and well-being. Welcome to yet another session of Conscious Living Collective. Very good to be here and very good to see you. And right at the start, I want to acknowledge my regular members just by the icons on the bottom. Hello, Tosca. Hello, Diane. Hello, Joan. Hello, Karen. And those of you who are joining, I think I saw Parvane just a moment ago, but she disappeared. Kathin as well. Hello, Farnas. Hello, Karen from New York for the first time. I'm so happy that you are here. Sandy. Good. Yeah, good, Parvane. Yeah, I saw your icon and then it disappeared for a second, but I'm glad you are here. So today, a very important topic that is inspired by my own experience. How to deal with stress more effectively. And it goes without saying, there are volumes written about this topic. And there are tomes in the libraries, both virtual and physical, where you can read about techniques and methods. And yet somehow, some way, I don't think collectively we're getting better at it. And that's why I decided to share with you something that works for me. Not necessarily the scientific knowledge and something that I've read about, but something that works for me in a way of navigating stress more effectively. You see, I forgot the name of my own session because I think navigating is such a good word to use. Navigating means you know to remove stress from your life, to avoid it. It's to move around it gracefully. What do you think about that word? And before I share with you what works, what helps me to navigate the very stressful landscape of today's lives, I like to ask you, what is your method? What helps you to steer yourself throughout the day in a way that help you be less stressed and navigate this stress effectively? Perhaps use stress as your ally. Yeah, Farnas from London says, I feel anxious most of the times. Just 2 sessions ago, we had a session on anxiety. And for those of you who've been attending my session of the past couple of weeks, the theme is around this basic function of our body that tends to stress, tends to get anxious, not because stress and anxiety are fundamentally wrong or bad, but because that's how we evolved. And I dare say right here at the start that the environment that we create around ourselves supports even more the stress anxiety. And I want to point you out as I'll be listening to, I just look in the comments just for a moment, but when I was creating my cheat sheet for today's sessions, just look at the picture for a second. And when I won't lie to you, I generated this picture. I asked the ChatGPT a question, how do you perceive both the stress and navigating stress effectively? And that was the picture that AI generated. And I think this is a great representation of how our life look like. And to be perfectly honest, just looking at this picture, however full of colors and wonderful, makes me feel a bit stressed. Because the busyness of this image, there's so much. There's not necessarily anything wrong with it. If you look at the individual elements, not the text on it, but the individual elements within the image, see there are flowers, there's a clock, well, there's an inside timer, there's a laptop, there are buildings, there's a sky, but there's so much of it all. And maybe to some extent that sums up the reasons why the stress levels in our lives increased as opposed to decrease as we get better and managing it, navigating it, as the technology get better to make our life easier. So just because our life got easier with the development of technology and our evolution, it doesn't really mean that we get less stressed. We have, as a matter of fact, we have more of everything, more stuff, more responsibilities, more emotions, more stimuli. And that, as a result, if you look at the nature, what stress is, that's what happens. Stress is a response of your body, of your physical makeup towards the stimulation that comes both externally, as your life, work, relationships, managing everything, and also internally as a response to very emotional states that some of them are obviously a result of what happens in our life externally. But a lot of things, as a lot of traditions teach us, come from within. They intrinsic to who we are. So let me look. Well, Kathleen says, I'm making myself sick due to anxiety. High BP, scared gets higher and cycles. Going for walks or getting out in nature usually helps me. Yeah, I'm with you, Diane, on this one. And this is one of the things I want to introduce to you in a second. Nature seems to be much less stressed as compared to our daily life. So for me, definitely nature is a way of helping me to navigate my daily stresses. Ferna says, hovering helps me. It's not actually that surprising. I will tell you my actually story that refers to you hovering and why this helps. Colleen goes right there, breath work. Fairness, I think hovering. I don't know how to pronounce this word properly. Hovering. Yeah, I know what you mean. Tosca, prayer meditation, talking with my friends. Colleen being grounded, painting, being creative. I think you guys stealing my bullet points today. All those comments are very right on the money. Sandy spending time in the garden and breath work. Yeah. Susie Clatter makes me crazy. Very much with you on this one. So yes, coming back to thank you all for your contribution, because Conscious Living Collective is about having a conversation. Even though I'm doing a talking, I'm very much open and inspired by everything that you say in the comment sections, and it helps me reflect on my own condition. So we continue this exchange. And like I said at the beginning of this session, I want to make it very personal. I don't want to make it just a talk on yet another method to release your stress, but I want to tell my personal story that it's very much close to my heart, in hope that it will resonate with you. And also when you share your ways, it will either reaffirm me, as I just said, in my ways, or perhaps help me to find something new to add to my tool set of that helps me to navigate my daily stress. Colleen, I'm thinking of more shaking. Amazing. Risks in the US, we call it the vacuuming. Paravane, when I'm able, spending time in my happy place, I'm guessing painting, jewelry making, and cooking, meditation helps me a lot. Yes, on that, and I think I saw Joan somewhere mentioning spending time with Gunner, with her dog. Yes, I love all those. Although I do not have my own dog, I wish I could afford having a dog, but I think it's too much of a responsibility considering my lifestyle and traveling. But I would love to have a dog, and animals in general, since they are much more connected with nature, they have ability to teach us about mindfulness. I think Eckhart Tolle said that I had many a meditation master. Most of them were cats. And that says something about how animals and dogs and cats and are very much more connected with nature. And nature, by definition, is much more grounded. It helps us to release stress. I don't remember last time where nature gave me a lot of stress and anxiety. Even when there is a storm, and we had a massive storm recently, that there was lightning strikes and thunders. It seems like I wasn't so much afraid of it. I was awe-inspired. How nature expresses itself, expresses sometimes a violent behavior, but still in a way that is not stressful, but it's more natural. Well, nature behaves in a natural way. I invented a new language. So, yeah. Parvana says, my cat spent all this time by my side, always when I was meditating. I think animals definitely, they have a way of recognizing our emotional state, and they'll be much more attracted to us if we are in a calm, peaceful state as opposed to stressed and anxious. So, I think I wind myself up with the conversation. I can feel that I'm a bit stressed right now. So there you go. You have the first-hand experience of the stressful situation. But let me bring myself back by taking just one breath. And there you go. And I'm centered and settled again. What I wanted to say in a response to Parvane, who said that cooking helps her to navigate stress better. I'm the same. Since I no longer work in the lab, cooking various molecules or creating and designing molecules in the lab as I used to in the past. For those of you who don't know, my background is in chemistry, and particularly in organic chemistry that deals with the molecule design and taking those fundamental building blocks of life and putting them together in a way that can help us to discover the laws of nature and help us to create new substances and potentially medicine. And that approach was very structured, very methodological, and that's what I find these days in the kitchen. When I cook, when I create things, I love perfecting things. So when you would look at my kitchen and what I cook, it's usually very things that are very familiar to you, but I love to take it to the next level and perfecting them. And something I brought for my last trip, for my recent trip to Japan, was the art of ramen. Japanese soup, that is one of the most popular dishes you can find in Japan. But as you can imagine, ramen in Japan evolved to over decades to something that is absolutely a form of art. So when I came back from Japan, I started cooking ramen and making it from the scratch. And I found it a very creative process. As one of you have noticed, that creativity certainly helps you to be in the moment and hence be away from stress and help you navigate the stress much better, and engages us in some very special way. And again, I'm not trying to say that everybody should start cooking. I simply want to share my ways of helping me to move through my awareness in a way that, again, helps me navigate stress better. So finding new ways to create ramen, to make noodles from scratch, to create a broth from scratch, to do all those things, it certainly is a way for me to relax, but also to be creative. Farnaz, my anxiety comes from loss and grief. Well, certainly this is something that we cannot avoid. As I already tried to say, we are here not to avoid stress. We are not here to create a life that is completely deprived of stress, cutting it out of our lives. We are learning here to navigate it better as a way of where evolution took us to create stressful situation for us to grow and to evolve and to develop. So stress is a part of our personal individual development, and we have to have that in mind when a stressful situation comes. But when we come back to the beginning, and if you take a look at my cheat sheet and the very busy picture in front of you, you see that for me personally, the first and the most important way of navigating stress is not when the stress happens, but way before, by having and developing a healthy routine. Perhaps because of the nature of my mind that is very structured and scientific, having a plan, or better, routine, somehow puts my mind at ease. Knowing that I have something to look forward to. And those things sometimes they are not very peaceful. A lot of things that I have planned throughout the day require me to exert effort, to pay attention, to move my awareness. But knowing that I have things planned that are part of my routine throughout the day, somehow, some way, puts my mind at ease. And when I think about it, the reason why my mind feels much better having something when it's occupied at something, the reason for that comes deeply from the neuroscience, that from the behavior of the brain that absolutely loves pondering upon something. When your brain is idle, the chances are that we'll engage with dwelling upon the past or thinking about the future. And this can be, by in its nature, very stressful. Said many times, negativity bias, which is your tendency of your brain to focus on the negative. But if we develop a healthy routine that utilizes our brain in a way that is constructive and creative, then all of a sudden our brain becomes our servant and not only helps us to navigate stress better, but can use stress as a way, as a constructive force of development. And let me tell you about my perhaps I'm going to start only with the morning. And those of you who listened to me before, you know my morning routine. When I get up and here live in the Sunshine Coast of Australia starts very early. For me, around 5 a.m. in the morning. And this is, again, something that might differ for you because your lifestyle is different. Here, we have very early sunrise. The birds start making a lot of noise. And it's just wonderful to be outdoors very early in the morning before it gets too hot. So when I get up, the first thing I do, sometimes before even going to the bathroom, I go and turn on my espresso machine because it takes some time for it to warm up. So I already have something to look forward to, right? I know one of the first things I will do is to have a cup of coffee and do one of my favorite things. It's just reading with a cup of coffee in hand. And as my coffee machine warms up, and it takes about 20 minutes to do it, I go and start with my morning meditation. And that's after obviously going to the bathroom and washing my face and doing this very basic things. But I know exactly how will I start my day. So even if my anxious mind will jump on first thing after I open my eyes and start throwing at me all those thoughts that can be overwhelming and a cause of stress, I know that that's where I'm going first. I'm going to sit and ground myself, which, let me say, it's much easier in the morning because your brain is still in the state of the brain waves are predominantly theta and gamma and delta, which and obviously alpha and beta, but less because we're coming out of sleep. So it's simply easier to meditate and easier to prepare yourself for your day. And after I meditate, I already know, my brain knows, subconsciously I know there will be the time where I sit and I enjoy my morning coffee and then I read. And then almost every day, if I don't do this part, I already feel a bit of pressure. I go out. Sometimes it's to go for a swim in the ocean. Sometimes to play beach volleyball with my friends. But spending time outdoors in nature is a very important part of my healthy morning routine. And that actually it's not only morning routine, but it happens throughout the day. The more time I spend in the nature, the less stressed I feel, the more rejuvenation I experience. So that healthy routine, particularly first thing in the morning, but also before we go to bed, it's absolutely fundamental. Healthy routine also includes, but it's not limited to, healthy meals. So when I come back before usually I start work, although I might do some work, reading includes usually aspects of work, although I don't consider it working, I always plan out a delicious and nutritious breakfast. Breakfast is this meal I never try to rush. I try to take my time. And I understand that this perhaps is not something that you can afford doing when you have a family, when you have to work. But perhaps after work would be a time when you can spend time with your family or with your friends or share a meal. Who knows? Like I said, I'm only sharing things that work for me, that perhaps my intention is may inspire you or help you to create healthy routine that works for you. But definitely, breakfast is by far my favorite meal, and I always take my time to have my breakfast. I just picked up on Laura's comment, cooking stresses me out and I avoid it. Luckily, hubby loves that too. And that's a very good point, that for many, cooking is actually a stressful activity. So there you go. We already have a response to what I said. Creating something that is your own. You are uniquely individual, and hence I encourage you to find something that works for you and is aligned with your values, with your talents, and with your personality, right? I'm not offering you just 5 steps to that you follow and you feel a certain way. No, I encourage you to be creative because, as many of you already mentioned, creativity is arguably the best way to navigate stress. As a matter of fact, so-called creative stress, it's a wonderful way to moving forward and to growing and to personally developing yourself, because creative situations are fueling or maybe full of stress, but the creative stress is the one of the best form of stress one can experience, that inspires us to move forward and to better ourselves and to feel more fulfilled, particularly when we overcome those obstacles. So developing a healthy routine, and just things to consider in this routine is, I would divide it in 3 aspects. The first one is how you wake up and how you fall asleep. So interesting enough, sleep is very important aspect of your daily routine. Think about that. We spend so much time sleeping. So if you sleep somehow suffers, if you take stress to your sleep, then your entire day, your waking state will be affected, unfortunately in the negative way. So consider sleep, both waking up and going to bed. Second, nutrition. What you eat, that you become. Having slow and healthy meals will help your body tremendously to navigate stress better. How many times I ate unhealthy and find myself having a crash, eating too much sugar, and all of a sudden my body's ability to manage stress diminishes tremendously. So really considering, I would say for me, it's including as much vegetables in my diet as possible is fundamental to help me navigate stress better. So we have sleep, we have nutrition, and third one is movement. As already someone mentioned, hovering, shaking. Your body is designed to move. The more exercise you include, and I'm not talking about going to the gym, I'm talking about moving your body, a form of dancing, in a form of walking, and even better, being in nature, so that the movement and nature, they have a similarity. I really personally, I do not like going to the gym. If I have a strong purpose, like improving my performance for my volleyball game, then I can do it. But otherwise, all the movement I'll do is in nature. I combine those two. I mix and match. You see what happens there. It doesn't have to be just the one thing. You can do few things simultaneously that support you in navigating your daily stress better. And this is phenomenal, right? We include elements of creativity. We creating a concoction of things that work for us wonderfully. And surprise, surprise, the first pillars of conscious living, that is the name of my course here on Inside Timer, are sleep, nutrition, and movement. So I'm really not only taking that from my personal life, but something that works also scientifically. So something that has been scientifically proven to help us. So I'm not only saying do what science says, I say take from different disciplines, mostly from your personal experience, listening to your body and to your mind, so to speak, what works for you. And then if you find a confirmation externally, say in scientific sources, then better. You have an external validation, and that improves your motivation to live your life better. And I just picked up on the comment Argentine tango, 100%. Dancing, I personally love dancing. Dancing, it includes both creativity, movement, and connection with people. With I'm not sure if I included it into my cheat sheet, but this is certainly something that helps to navigate stress better. Our relationships with other people. The same stress can be managed much more efficiently, much more effectively if done in the company of like-minded people. That's why I come here to Insight Timer. I come here to have these sessions with you because I feel much more inspired to when I'm in your presence as opposed when I'm by myself. It goes without saying. Creating those mindful relationships. On that note, for those of you who are seeking the company of like-minded people, I have a patron program that already I see that some of you are part of it here, that helps connect those like-minded people and have those conversation, discussions, meditations that will help you with your resilience and navigating stress better, but also live more fulfilled life. That's the nature of the patron program. So please look it up. Patron, use my name and you will find it and see if this is something for yourself. If you're seeking that social aspect in the form of very mindful and conscious, creating conscious relationships, not those that sit on the surface, right? The surface conversation, the superficial, usually doesn't do much. Only the meaningful relationships, they help us to move with our life and to live our life in a more fulfilled way. But coming back to understand your body, I think this is something that is very important to me because, like I already said, it is very easy these days to find a book, look it up on the internet, what to do in order to live better, live healthier, stress less, be a millionaire, have beautiful relationships. It's the easiest thing to do to find the content that will tell you how to live your life. But I think what very often we don't consider are the needs of our body and who we are. Are all those smart, scientifically proven methods aligned with who we are on the level of the body and the level of the mind? One of you already said, I do not like cooking. Why would I do cook if it stresses me out? And there'll be people that say, listen, cooking is fantastic. Another example that I used, I personally do not like going to the gym. I do not like stressing my body to the extreme. But doesn't mean it's not good for everyone. Absolutely not. I know for certain there are people that absolutely love taking extreme forms of exercise and it serves them well. So know your body. Spend time through examining it and trying new things, what works for you. Not everybody likes dancing. So I cannot say that dancing is a wonderful way of helping you with the stressful situations. Not at all. It is a wonderful way of help you managing stressful situations for some, but not for everyone. We are here to find a better way to do it, what works for you. And this is through getting to know your body. What is your body type, so to speak? Are you more physical or are you more emotional? I see that all the time, and particularly in the game of volleyball. There are some people that are very coordinated, almost as if their body was built for sports. And there are those people whose body are not that well coordinated, but they excel, say, in emotional intelligence. And they are better suited, not better suited. The body expresses themselves in an artistic way, maybe in dancing, maybe in painting. The dexterity might be much greater. Again, knowing your body, knowing your talents, it's help you tremendously to navigate stressful situations or put yourself in situations that suit you. Just because you have body, it doesn't mean that your body will thrive in every single situation. It is our responsibility to choose what works for us. We come to this incarnation in a playful way. We come to the playground, we choose the toys that we like, and then we play with them. We don't choose just a random toy. We choose toys that we like. We choose form of play that we like. And that liking part is the way of your body telling you, well, I'm much more capable of that. That is my talent. Right? So the development that is aligned with your body needs will be much faster. We can develop absolutely any ability given. You can become a body lifter. You can become a dancer. You become proficient in languages. But depends on your body type. And again, type, I mean your ability to body to be more physical, more emotional. Usually the balance, our bodies are both emotional and physical. It's just the balance may be shifted towards one way or another. And again, so please do not use it as a either or. It's more about being balance being shifted towards one way or another. And obviously there are different layers and different ways of describing yourself. And the best way to find out is to ask yourself, what do you think about yourself? Nobody knows you as well as you do. So use your own discernment, use your own understanding that is based on your personal experience. So yeah, understand your body. Understand your body on a physical level. It's very important, and knowing that will help you to put yourself in the situations that even they may be stressful, navigating through them will be much easier because you'll be able to use your talents of your body in a creative way. And out of that flows the next point that works for me. Set your boundaries. There's so much that is asked of us these days, and it's virtually impossible to meet needs of everyone around you. If you are that kind of person that tries to, and I think I used to be more like that, a bit less these days. I'm not saying not at all. I would say the description of that is people pleaser, right? We try to, everybody does that. We somehow, it's a part of our design. We like when people like us. We like to be liked, and that's okay. But only if we put in place healthy boundaries. If we understand who we are on the fundamental level, and if this liking or being liked does not get in the way of our core values. That's why setting healthy boundaries is so important to navigate stress better. If you do not have boundaries, it's so easy to get overwhelmed, regardless of your level of resilience, regardless of how much you meditate, how much you use methods, spend time in nature to offset the stress. If you do not set healthy boundaries, you ultimately will be overwhelmed because of the thing I mentioned at the start of this session. If you once again look at the picture under the text, you see the amount of stimuli that we experience these days is more than anybody can take. Way, way more. And setting those boundaries will be important. How much time you spend working, even if it's a creative work, how much time you spend with people, how much time you spend with people you like and appreciate, and how much time you spend with people that you simply accept or because you have to. This is important. If you find yourself that most of your time you spend with people that you, quite frankly, don't care about, and this is not a judgment by any mean. We cannot like everyone, and not everyone can like us. There are people that are more meaningful to us because we create with them more meaningful relationships, and people that, well, those relationships are not that close. And ask yourself, what people are you spending more time with? Again, finding these people, it's not easy. That's not a challenge altogether. But having people that we have meaningful relationship with in your life will help you to manage the stress and navigate your stress much better. And I understand that we're going already in 45 minutes of our session. I do not want to take too much more time before we jump into meditation. I just want to share with you something that works for me and what I put in general to reframe negative thinking. And I found that when I start spiraling down into that negative thinking that brings me a lot of suffering and as a result stress, that's where the reframing comes handy. And there is actually a scientific term developed in psychology called cognitive reframing that refers to that way of, okay, if I find myself in the downward spiral of negative thinking, I should ask myself, is that helpful? Is that serving me or others? Is the train of that negative thoughts really true? Classic example. I'm terrible. I can't do it. I'm worthless. Is it helpful? Well, hardly ever. I don't think so. Is it true? Well, it's not a 0-1 sum game. We cannot be either worthless or perfect. Usually the truth is somewhere in between. So again, cognitive reframing helps us to break the cycle, break that negative down spiral, and navigate through it in a much fuller and much better way. Laura asked, what if you love your family, but you have very different beliefs and values? Listen, this is a very good question that actually applies very directly to me, because me and my parents, we have very different values. We have very different lives. As a matter of fact, I'm here in Australia and they are back in Poland living their lives. And I would not say I want to live my life the way they do. And I do not believe they ever wanted to live their lives the way I do. And I think that's okay. Is it easy? Is it a perfect scenario? Absolutely not. Name of this session is not to how to love your family perfectly. to use the analogy, how to navigate relationship with your parents, with your loved ones. You see what I'm doing here? This is already includes the part of the cognitive reframing. I'm not here to love my parents to death. I'm not questioning my love towards my parents. I'm navigating relationship with them in a healthy way. Not an easy thing to do. Again, by understanding this, is not make it easier, make it helpful to navigate it in a more effective way. That is more helpful to your mental health and perhaps to their mental health too. Because as much as I attribute my parents with many things, they are not stupid. They know, even though sometimes particularly when I was younger, I thought, oh, well, they such and such and I'm so and so. Everybody knows. What I found about everyone, when we need to be, we are very smart. We are very smart. That reflects our ability of every human being to adapt to the situation, particularly when it comes to fulfilling your own needs. It's very important to recognize that. Many people require protection, but they also have the ability to protect themselves, particularly when it comes to fulfilling their needs and values. Kathleen, thank you. My values are completely different than my family. So the art and incredible skill of cognitive reframing to looking at the spiral of your negative thoughts, that it's so common. I experience it all the time. Sometimes first thing when I open my eyes, the thoughts are already there, trying to throw me. And if I do not apply, if I don't learn that skill, well, it's very easy to start the day on the wrong foot. So once again, I want to bring to mind my course, 6 Pillars of Conscious Living. First 3 out of which is nutrition, movement, and sleep. So there you go. Get to know your body. This course is designed to help you to get to know yourself better, to challenge some of the assumptions that we have about ourselves. And this is ultimately the best way of navigating stresses of daily life, by getting to know yourself better. So do go to my profile under courses and check this course out, because I'm very certain it would be beneficial to you. Not all of it, but everyone can choose something for themselves. Okay. Thank you, Kathleen. And speaking of spending time with like-minded people, my patron program that you can access, that typing my name in a Google with a patron, and you find out more how it works. But it's mostly about cultivating healthy community, healthy, meaningful relationships. And even though it happens via Zoom, I know this is not ideal, but it's the offset. Already many of the members of my Patreon program met in real life, and they took the relationship that started in the virtual world to the real world. So by the way, I'm very happy about that. It's been 4 years now since I started. I started my Patreon program at the beginning of the pandemic. It's been, I already forgot about it. It's been so long. Anyway. Okay. So this is the practical part that is time for. Let us sit and consider all those things that we spoke about everything that you brought and see for yourself if you can sit with stress that your life throws at you in a more effective way, because that's the topic of today's sessions: how to navigate stress more effectively. The music that you have heard at the beginning of the session is, and if you know me, I love the guy. Once again, Peter Helland, this time Sea of Time. And I'll be playing to you his music as the background for our exploration and meditation. And I want to acknowledge Peter here. I want to type Sea of Time. That's what you can listen to right now. I will switch to the meditation screen. Begin by finding the most comfortable position for you. Acknowledge the needs of your body. What does your body try to tell you? For me, it's usually putting my hands in the lap, resting my feet on the floor, sitting upright with my back straight but not rigid. And checking in if there's any resistance in my body. Are there any stress that I can release by taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth? This way I can see where the stress in my body is. The typical areas where your body holds the stress are out of your shoulders, your neck, throat, belly. Your body keeps the score of everything that happened to you. And by checking in, by bringing awareness to the sensations of your body, you starting the process of de-stressing, releasing all unnecessary tension. And there's that tension that runs a bit deeper, that cannot be released immediately. And this we learn to navigate, to understand better, if your awareness takes you there, do not simply try to remove it or release it, but allow yourself to understand it, but by giving it attention and care. This way, thoughts may come to the surface. Perhaps the tension will amplify, but only in order to be released. Things sometimes may get worse before they get better. So allow yourself to do it now in the safe environment when you feel safe, secure, and protected. When you are at ease as much as possible. And I'm here by your side to assist you, to support you in the process of holding anything that needs time to be processed. If you feel a need, take another deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth to release that surface tension that will help you to sit more comfortably. That will help you to sit with the deeper wounds in a more accepting way. And if you are courageous enough to do so, you not only release the stress, but also you will experience deep healing of the wounds from the past. Things that you may not even remember anymore. But your body does remember. Breathe deeply and slowly. Letting go of all the tension, all the stress. Allowing yourself to be present, to be here and now. And I will give you a few minutes to go through this process on your own as I stand by your side to hold the space, to support you. is time to return. Bring yourself back to the physicality of your body, to your 5 senses, starting with your hearing. Connect with the sound of music, with the sound of my voice. Your vision, brighter and darker spots in front of your eyes, your field of vision. Your smell. Even if you don't smell anything, see how your attention moves towards your nostrils, being aware of the air coming in and coming out. The sense of taste. Even in absence of any particular taste, become aware of your palate, of your tongue, and finally the sense of touch that defines the boundaries of your physical body, that connect with the external environment, the space around you. Feel your feet resting on the floor, your hands in your lap. Feel your sit bones on the surface upon which you sit. And before we finish, express your gratitude for the time you spend with yourself, the time you spend to get to know yourself a bit better and offer so much needed relief from daily stress, from anything and everything that gets in the way of expressing your full potential. And now for the last time, take one deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when ready, open your eyes and welcome back. Thank you so much for meditating with me. I really like that function on Insight Timer that allows you to see who meditated with you. But even better, when I can say these words verbally in front of you. Thank you for meditating with me. That was truly lovely and a very powerful experience for me. I said that a million times. I will say it again. It's so much easier to meditate in your presence. You certainly held the space for me as much as I tried to hold the space for you. And I want to express my gratitude for you being here in this meditation. And for those of you who also had a great experience, perhaps you can share in one word how you feel right now. Yes, Andy, I agree with you. Peter Herland is a special guy to compose music like that. Thank you, Parvane. Nicole feels serene, Colleen alive. It's a great feeling. Jackie feels lighter, Joanna peaceful, Kathleen warm, Sandy peaceful. Hey Anne, Anne feels better. That's improvement. Melissa feels relaxed, and so is her cat. Excellent. Susie more peaceful. Kathleen, mahalo from, I'm assuming from Hawaii. Laura, grateful. Laura, thank you so much for your support. By the way, I hardly ever remember to ask for donations. And I think I'm not asking here for donations. I just want to see that you have an opportunity to click the donate button, and that will support me tremendously in my work and continue with the basically daily life. As much as I love, and I will continue doing lives regardless of whether I collect donations or not, because I love them. I already feel fulfilled. But obviously, the support that you offer me in a financial way through donations help me to just continue it more in less stress. We know that financial situation helps to relieve or mitigate the daily stress. So your support is also, financial support is important to me. And I will say I do appreciate it. So thank you so much. Your donations do support me. However, the most important part of it is your mental currency, which is your attention, and you perhaps going and listening to my courses, listening to my meditations, coming to my Patreon program, spending more time with me. Ultimately, I think that's what this is for. And even if I had millions of dollars, right, I would be still doing the same things. I would still come and see you. Perhaps I would build an institute where people would come and could do it more in person. That's actually on my mind. I'm not sure that will ever happen, but I think money would help tremendously in doing that. I think I could not do it with simply coming to Insight Timer and meditating every day. I would need to hire people and create a team that would help in the creation of that institute. This is not something I had to do it with myself, and hence establishing those Insight Timer donations would be maybe somewhat helpful in that. But that's the thing of the future. Thanks, Matt. Good to see you here. So once again, thank you for that. Let me just say before I let you go, because I enjoy these sessions, I decided to do 2 a week. One is on Monday, which is Sunday afternoon or evening in the US. And next one will be my Monday, most of you, if you're in the US, Sunday, deep relaxation for nervous system recalibration. So you'll be able to sign up for this session right after finishing this session. Most likely the window will pop up. And you can see we continue the theme that allows to condition our physical body in a way that express our full potential. We're dealing with stress, we're dealing with anxiety, we trying to understand our nervous system better. So please do come to this session if you have time, and we will continue our work, continue processing emotions in and navigating our emotions in a more effective way. And but before that, I want to wish you a very pleasant day or a restful night wherever you are. And I will leave you with Peter Helland and his Sea of Time. Appreciation for Peter to helping us meditate better. Until next time, thank you.